Good morning and a warm welcome to the 20th Annual General Meeting of members of Zccm Investment Holdings PLC, taking place both in person and virtually. In person, we are at Mlungushi International Conference Center in the Kenneth Kaunda wing. My name is Loisa Mbata, and I'm the Corporate Affairs Manager for Zccm Investment Holdings PLC. Now, this meeting is being broadcast in both English and French. We have two translators providing the translation services, Mr. Webi Capasso and Mr. Mwanda Kayongo, both from Alliance Française. So for those of you who are joining us online via Zoom, would like to kindly request that you mute the original language for you to be able to hear us audibly from here. So you mute the original language and select either French or English. In that way, you'll be able to hear us audibly. And I hope and trust that those of you who are joining us, whether via the French channel or the English channel, you are able to hear us. Now, the focal point of this 20th Annual General Meeting is the 2023 financial year. At this point, I will hand over to the Company Secretary, Mr. Charles Mujumpi, for the furtherance of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. And good morning, members, and good morning, everyone in the audience. Mr. Kakenono Muyangwa, who is the chairperson of the Zccm Ih board, will preside for this meeting. This is in compliance with Article 52 of the Articles of Association of the company, which provides for the chairperson of the board to preside as chairperson at a general meeting of members. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you the chairperson of the board, Mr. Muyangwa.
Good morning. I call upon the company secretary to confirm that the quorum is constituted.
Chairperson, I do hereby confirm that a quorum has been duly constituted.
The necessary quorum being present, I declare the meeting duly constituted and open, and welcome you to the 20th Annual General Meeting of the company. First of all, on behalf of the Board of Directors, I'm happy to welcome you all to the 20th Annual General Meeting of the members of the company. While there has been a slight delay in the issuance of the 2023 audited financial statements, I am happy to report that this is the earliest time that Zccm Ih has issued these audited financial statements since its establishment 24 years ago. This signifies our commitment to run the company efficiently. The board and management have worked closely and diligently to ensure that improvements are attained in the turnaround of various processes, leading to the completion of the audited financial statements. We have broken our own record, and we hope to make consistent improvements in the future. Shareholders are informed that efforts are being made to improve on completion timelines on the issuance of future audited financial statements. Second item is that queries relating to individual shareholder concerns will be handled after the AGM within this room. Third item is that the registration of members present is being done at the entrance. We've also made provisions for online registration. I hope that all members have registered their names. Allow me now to take this opportunity to introduce Mrs. Beatrice Nkanza, representing the Industrial Development Corporation Limited, the 60.3% majority shareholder in Zccm Ih. In addition, I hereby introduce Mr. Rodney Machila, representing the government of the Republic of Zambia, holder of significant shares of 17.3% through the Minister of Finance as custodian. I also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Matete Sichizia, representing the National Pension Scheme Authority, with a shareholding of 15%. May I now also introduce the members of the Board of Directors of Zccm Ih who are present here today. All are non-executive directors. On my right, there is Mr. Philip Stosak, non-executive director and chairperson of the Investments Committee and a member of the Audit Committee. On my extreme left, we have Mr. Moses Nyirenda, non-executive director, chairperson of the Remuneration Committee, and member of the Investment Committee. Next to him, we have the acting Chief Executive Officer and our Chief Financial Officer, Mrs. Sakala. Apologies have been received from Director Muyangwa, who is a non-executive director and member of the Investment and Remuneration Committees, also representing NAPSA. We have Director Mubita Akapelwa, non-executive director and vice chairperson of the board. Online also, we have Mrs. Masitala Mushinga, non-executive director and chairperson of the audit committee. I would also like to introduce Director Bishop John Mambo, who is just joined us. He's a non-executive director and a member of the Remuneration and Audit Committees. With respect to the management team, I have seated here with me on my left, Mr. Charles Mujumpi, the company secretary. We also have Mr. Lombimbalashi, the general counsel. Mr. Brian Musonda, Chief Investment Officer. Both of these are online. We have physically here Mr. Tisa Chama, Chief Technical Officer. We have Mr. Shepard Mwanza, Chief Internal Auditor, or Chief Internal Audit Officer. Mr. Gift Zulu, Procurement Manager, and Ms. Mwaka Mamlima, Risk Manager. In terms of apologies from shareholders, I've not received any apologies. Do we have any apologies from members who have been unable to attend meetings? Thank you. We also have present in the meeting our sponsoring brokers, Stockbrokers Zambia Limited, led by Mr. Jack Kanyanga. Our transfer secretaries, COPSEV Transfer Agents Limited, led by Mr. Setri Napi. We also have representation from the Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as the Lusaka Securities Exchange. I now hand over to the secretary to inform the meeting of the proxies received and to read the notice convening the meeting.
Notice is hereby given that the 20th Annual General Meeting, which is the AGM of members of Zccm Investments Holdings PLC, will be held physically and virtually on Friday today, 28th June 2024 at 10 hours at the Mulungushi International Conference Center, Kenneth Kaunda Wing, Banquet Hall number 1 in Lusaka, and the rest of the details are as per the notice that was issued to the members on the 7th of June 2024. We just wait for the summary of the proxies. So we have received quite a number of proxies. As already mentioned by Chair, we do have the IDC, represented by Mrs. Beatrice Nkanza, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Rodney Machila, NAPSA by Mr. Matetes Chizia, and just a few more for Mr. Marcel, who has appointed Mr. Tusak, and also Mr. Berry, who has also appointed Mr. Tusak. KCM Trust Pension Scheme has appointed Mr. Kelvin Shiunga. Setunia Regina has appointed, again, Mr. Kelvin Shiunga, as well as Stanbic Bank Pension Trust Fund. The rest of the proxies, Chair, we do recognize them. I hand back over to the Chair.
The voting on resolutions will be done via an electronic system. Our transfer agent, COPSEF Zambia, will provide detailed guidance on the procedure for electronic voting before each resolution is passed. Questions will be allowed before tabling the resolution. On the agenda item number 1, minutes of the 19th Annual General Meeting. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the 19th Annual General Meeting that was held on 29 September 2023. Members should note that the minutes start from page 3 to page 11 of the AGM pack. Are there any corrections or amendments to the minutes? Starting with page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. And page 11. Thank you. The resolution relating to the minutes is as follows: that the minutes of the 19th Annual General Meeting of the company held on 29 September 2023 be and are hereby approved as a true and correct record of the proceedings of the meeting. I now call upon Mrs. Beatrice Nkanza to propose the resolution.
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. I invite Mr. Rodney Machila to second the resolution.
I second the resolution, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any matters arising from the minutes? Starting with page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, and page 11. The second item on the agenda is the minutes of the Extraordinary General Meeting. The next item is to approve the minutes of the Extraordinary General Meeting that was held on 23rd February 2024. Members should note that the minutes start from page 16 to page 21 of the AGM pack. Are there any corrections or amendments to the minutes? Starting with page 16, page 17, page 18, page 19, page 20, and page 21. Thank you. The resolution relating to the minutes is as follows: that the minutes of the Extraordinary General Meeting of the company held on 23rd February 2024 be and are hereby approved as a true and correct record of the proceedings of that meeting. I now call upon Mrs. Beatrice Nkanza to propose the resolution.
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. I invite Mr. Matete Schizia to second the resolution.
Thank you, Chair. I second the proposal.
Thank you very much. Are there any matters arising from the minutes? Page 16, page 17, page 18, page 19, page 20, and page 21. The next item on the agenda is to receive the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2023, together with the reports of directors and the auditors. I invite the Chief Financial Officer, Mrs. Sakala, to make a presentation highlighting the major items of significance regarding the 2023 audited financial statements.
Good morning to all our members, ladies and gentlemen, or should I just say all protocols observed. So before I begin with the presentation, I'll start with a disclaimer. The purpose of this presentation is to provide a general understanding of the business, of the company, and not for investment decision. This presentation contains forward-looking information which is subjected to known and unknown risk. The outlines of the topics that we will cover. First item will cover the 2023 financial statements, where we will highlight the company's performance as well as the group's performance. Under the second item, we will highlight the performance of Zccm Ih shares on the 3 stock exchange. And under item 3, we will highlight the key developments and the proposed dividend. So the 2023 financial statements are in 2 parts. There is the company as well as group financial statements. The group results is a combination of subsidiaries, investments, and associates with the company's standalone results, while the company is comprised of the standalone results for Zccm as a company. The details are in the annual report that is accessible on the company website. I'll start with the income statement at the company level. The profit has increased for the past 2 years. In the year 2023, the profit increased by 14%, a growth to 4.8 billion kwacha in 2023, compared to 4.2 billion kwacha in 2022, and this is mainly attributed to the increase in terms of the royalty income that was received from Kansanshi of 1.2 billion kwacha, equivalent to $56.13 million, an increase in terms of exchange gains realized on translation of our US dollar assets an increase in the fair value of the NFCA asset by 141%. Moving on to the group financial income statement, the group recorded an increase in operating ROS by 24% of 4.7 billion kwacha in 2023 compared to 3.7 billion kwacha in 2022. This is because in both financial years, the loss that's been recorded by the group has continued to be impacted by the underperformance of Mopani. Moving on to the company financial position level. At company level, in terms of the financial position, the asset position increased by 53% from 25.15 billion kwacha in 2022 to 38.47 billion kwacha in 2023 on account of an increase in the value of some investments in associates and others' assets. From an equity side and reserve side, equity and reserves increased by 52% from 24.68 billion kwacha, equivalent to $1.37 billion in 2022 to 37.42 billion kwacha, equivalent to $1.45 billion in 2023, and this is mainly attributed to the increase in profits and fair values on the financial assets recorded in 2023 financial year. Moving on to the group financial position, this slide is showing the group level financial position results. The 20% increase in the group total asset is mainly driven by the improvement in financial performance of some of our investments in associates and other assets. The group total asset increased from 48.92 billion kwacha, equivalent to $2.81 billion in 2022 to 58.46 billion kwacha, equivalent to $2.2 billion. We are now moving on to the analysis of Zccm Ih investment in associates. The share of profit that has been recorded at group level during the financial year 2023 has increased from 1.6 billion kwacha in 2022 to 2.3 billion kwacha in 2023 and comes from three key investee companies, namely Copperbelt Energy, CNMC Rwanda, and Mamba, and this is reflective in their performance improvement. I'll now be moving on to agenda item number 2, where we will look at our key focus areas in 2023 financial year, and also we'll look at the share performance on the 3 stock exchange and the key development, and finally the proposed dividend. The company has share price on the Lusaka Securities Exchange opened at 37 kwacha 98 ngwe and closed at 42 kwacha, which were both showing a low price of 37 kwacha 98 ngwe and a high price of 42 kwacha. The total traded shares during the financial year was 11,851 shares traded for a total turnover of 480,000. Moving on to the Zccm share price performance on the Euronext Access in Paris. In terms of the value of the listed shares on the Euronext as at financial year 2023 was 16.4 million euros. However, the implied market capitalization based on the total number of issued shares is 248 million euros. There was a 10.2% increase in market capitalization attributed to the share price increase during the financial reporting period. In terms of the total number of volumes traded, a total of 919,248 shares were traded during the financial period for a total turnover of 1.27 million euros. Moving on to the performance on the London Stock Exchange, the value of listed shares on the London Stock Exchange as at the 2023 financial year was 484,000. However, the implied market capitalization based on the total number of shares was 266 million. There was no change recorded in market capitalization during the period under review. In terms of the total of shares traded, a total of 183 shares were traded for a total turnover of 261.4 United States dollars. I'll now move on to just talk about the key developmental highlights, which we had focused on in 2023 financial year, and that has an impact on the future of the company going forward. So from a strategic point of view and the areas where we critically focused during the financial year, that will have a significant impact in terms of the strategic direction of the Zccm Ih. To start with, I'll start with Kansanshi Mining PLC. On Kansanshi Mining, we completed the conversion of dividend rights into a royalty right transaction in April 2023. The royalty rights provides reliable revenue compared to the dividend right, which is dependent on profits. Moving on to Mopani Copper Mines, shareholders are referred to the announcement that was made on the stock exchange news service on the Lusaka Securities Exchange on 10th November 2023, 30th November 2023, 22nd December 2023, and 1st February 2024, and 23rd February 2024, regarding the up to 1.1 billion capital investment by International Resources Holdings Limited through its wholly owned subsidiary, namely Delta Mining Limited. This transaction aims to boost production and financial stability for Mopani, aligning with the Zambian goal of increasing annual production output to 3 million metric tons by 2030. Moving on to CEC, we increased our shareholding from 24.11% to 31.07%. This was mainly aligned with our strategy of increasing influence in decision-making and extraction of value for our shareholders. Moving on to Mingomba, we successfully incorporated the company and completed the shareholder agreement in 2023. Moving on to KCM, our focus was to reset our relationship with KCM, which is aligned with the Zccm and stakeholders' objective to resolve KCM matters and boost Zambia's mining output. This slide is providing an overview of the Zccm Ih portfolio. This slide details Zccm subsidiaries, investee companies, and associate companies, and in total, there are 26. As part of our strategy to streamline the Zccm portfolio, to focus on mining, energy, and related investments, 10 companies highlighted in red are earmarked for divestment so that our concentration remains on core mining and energy assets that will drive the value of the business. We have initiated the necessary step for this rationalization program to optimize the portfolio in future to focus on mining, energy, and related business opportunities. The table and pie chart that's being reflected on the slide represents the distribution of value and concentration across different mining and energy industry. Copper, cobalt, and gold concentration rate is 81%, which contributes the total value to the company of 39.9 billion kwacha. This sector holds the largest value and concentration, indicating that the majority of the company value come from these metals. The energy sector contributes a rate of 18% of the total portfolio with a value of 8.6 billion kwacha. The energy sector contributes significantly, but is much smaller in value and concentration when compared to the copper, cobalt, and gold sector. The other commodities make up 1% of the total portfolio with a value of 500 million kwacha. These categories include all other sectors which together make up a very small portion of the total value and concentration. The total valuation of the Zccm Ih portfolio in total is 48 billion kwacha as at 31st of December 2023. I'll now move on to Mopani just to talk a bit more on the key developments. The key developments of Mopani relates to the strategic partnership with IRIH. The detailed information of this partnership is disclosed in the financial statements. The investment agreement with IRIH was successfully signed in December 2023. IRIH, through its subsidiary Delta Mining, has significantly financed the operations of Mopani. To date, the investment that has been made by IRIH through its subsidiary is $620 million, comprised of debt restructuring of $400 million paid to Glencore to restructure the $1.5 billion Glencore debt, and an equity investment of $220 million directly into Mopani. In addition to the investments already made, IRIH has committed an additional $400 million in equity funding to be dispersed over the next 3 years, further strengthening Mopani's financial position and supporting our growth initiative. Moving on to Kansanshi key development, which is the conversion of Zccm Ih dividend rights into royalty rights. The members will recall that this transaction was finalized in 2023 financial year. So we are seeing the first figures of what we have earned from the royalty transaction reported in the 2023 financial year. And this royalty transaction was between Zccm Ih and FQM. The financial impact to date is that Zccm has earned $56.13 million in loyalties, and an addition $9.05 million was received in VAT refunds as at 31st December 2023. We also highlight to the members that in 2023 financial year, Kansanshi did not declare any dividend. From a strategic initiative point of view, the S3 project is underway, and its main purpose is to address the sharply declining ore recoveries. The S3 project was commissioned in 2023, and its targeted completion date is mid-2025. These strategic moves and financial gains demonstrate Zccm's commitment to enhancing shareholder value and return and ensuring sustainable growth. Moving on to Copperbelt Energy Corporation, Zccm, as earlier mentioned, has increased its shareholding to 31.07%, demonstrating a commitment to greater control and influence over energy initiatives aimed at driving value creation and maximizing from this energy company that has been consistent in paying dividends. On the green energy side, CEC PLC is dedicated in supporting green energy initiative and has taken significant steps to enhance its sustainability effort. Key to note is the 34 megawatt solar PV plant, which was successfully commissioned in Kitwe this year, in 2023. Another initiative to note is the 60 megawatt Itimpi solar PV plant that was commissioned earlier this year, further contributing to the company's green energy portfolio. CEC further issued a $200 million green bond on the LUCE, specifically for refinancing existing projects and funding near-term planned projects focused on renewable energy and sustainability. These efforts outlines the commitment of CEC and Zccm to transitioning to green energy, reducing carbon emissions, and supporting sustainable development in the energy sector. We will now move on to Mamba. Zccm and Mamba have made significant progress regarding the 300 megawatt phase 2 project. Zccm is expected to participate in the project's financing as a shareholder. Detailed information on the project are provided for in the financial statements, and more information will be provided as the project progresses. On the ZESCO debt side, ZESCO has made significant improvement in terms of paying Mamba with regards to the outstanding debt. To date, ZESCO has made $207.75 million of the outstanding debt of $447 million against what was agreed in the settlement agreement. Moving on to Konkola Copper Mine. On KCM, key to note is the investment agreement signed in September 2023 with Vendata to resolve disputes and resume operation, and for the Vendata to invest approximately $1.27 billion into KCM. There is also an ongoing scheme of arrangement. So under this scheme, creditors voted 98% in favor of the scheme. The scheme administrator filed an application to sanction the scheme on 12th June 2024, which was heard, and the ruling is reserved for today, 28th June 2024. Moving on to CNMC Rwansha. Key to note is that CNSC plans to expand its mining operations via Shaft 28 dewatering. The dewatering program commenced in April 2024 as part of the $500 million expansion project. Moving on to NFC Africa mining. The mine is focusing on the development of the Southeast Oil Body at its Chambeshi unit. This project aims to extend the life of the mine by 25 years and significantly boost copper production capacity, and visibility studies are currently underway. On Mingomba, Full incorporation of the company with the shareholder agreement was completed in 2023. So this is the new company. Mingomba has advanced with its exploration works using artificial intelligence, with initial studies of license expected to be completed in 2024. As at 31st December 2023, Mingomba has spent a total of approximately $28 million on exploration and related activities. Allow me to move on to Zambia Gold Company. Zambia Gold is expected to resume its Kasenseri operations in Q3 of 2024, following resolution of outstanding issues with various stakeholders. The company has received an equity contribution from Ministry of Finance for operation of 99 million kwacha. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to Lubambe Copper Mines. The mine has continued with its mine optimization plan for production, including the 420 water pump station. The 420 water pump station at Lubambe Copper Mine is a critical component of the mine's infrastructure, which is aimed at enhancing operational efficiency by improving water management and production capacity, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, in summary, these strategic initiatives that have been highlighted are designed to boost copper production and contribute to the 2030 national target of 3 million metric tons of copper per annum. The completion of critical transaction and partnership that were undertaken during the financial year 2023 will strengthen operational capabilities and attract new investments. Ladies and gentlemen, our ongoing focus on strategic development and growth is vital to achieving our long-term goals for the benefit of you, our shareholders, and the other stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to move on to the last part of the agenda, item number 3, which is the 2023 proposed dividend. The declaration of the dividend is guided by the company policy, which is disclosed in 2023 financial year. The board of Zccm Ih approved the total dividend payout to the shareholders equivalent to 243 million, which is dollar equivalent $11 million in 2023 financial year, representing a share price of 1 kwacha, 51 ngwe per share. Zccm has consistently paid dividend over the past 8 years. The dividend yield for the 2023 financial year end is 33.6% on the Luce share price of 42 kwacha. On this note, I end my presentation and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, CFO, for that comprehensive presentation. I would like to now invite Mr. Jason Kazelemani to present the audit report on behalf of KPMG Zambia, our external auditors.
Good morning, shareholders. Good morning, directors. The audit report starts to read from page 54 of the annual report. With the permission of the chair, I would like to just touch on the pertinent points. I'll go through the opinion on the financial statements and our opinion on the legal and regulatory requirements and a few other aspects of the audit report. The rest, with your permission of the chair, I'd like to take as read. So the report on the audit of the financial statements, opinion. We have audited the consolidated and separate financial statements of Zccm Investments Holdings PLC, the group and company, set out on pages 61 to 197, which comprise the consolidated and company statement of financial position as of 31 December 2023, and the consolidated and company statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the consolidated and company statements of changes in equity, and the consolidated and company statements of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes of the financial statements, including a summary of material accounting policies. In our opinion, the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of Zccm Investments Holdings PLC as of 31 December 2023, and of its consolidated and separate financial performance and consolidated and separate cash flows for the period then ended, in accordance with IFRS accounting standards as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board, IFRS accounting standards, and in compliance with the requirements of the Companies Act of Zambia and the Securities Act of Zambia. The next paragraph basically talks about the basis for our opinion, which explains that we conducted our audit and obtained our evidence in accordance with international standards on auditing. The next section is on key audit matters, which highlights the matters that we regarded as key audit matters during our audit, and there were basically two. The first one was on valuation of investments in subsidiaries and associates. This is because the company fair values its investments in subsidiaries and associates, and a number of these are basically not traded on any stock exchange, so a valuation model is used, and there's a lot of significant judgment involved in arriving at the valuation. The other key audit matter was on provision for environmental rehabilitation. Some of the companies in the group do have environmental restoration provisions, and these as well arrived at using a very subjective process with a lot of inputs and assumptions. And this also was a key audit matter. The third key audit matter was on the valuation of financial assets at fair value through profit and loss, and the valuation of the royalty right interest. And this involved the royalty rights in Kansanshi, and as well as other financial assets that were fair valued. Again, here, the company used a model to arrive at the fair values, using a lot of estimates and applying significant judgment. The other matter I'd like to highlight is on page 57, where there's an emphasis of matter we placed on the comparative information, and I'll read it. It reads as follows. We draw attention to note 45, to the consolidated and separate financial statements, which indicates that the comparative information presented as at and for the year ended 31 December 2023 has been restated. Our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. So there was a restatement which is explained at note 45, but it does not result in any modification of our audit opinion. So Chairman, I'll now take the shareholders to page 60, which is a report on other legal and regulatory requirements. First of all, under the Companies Act of Zambia, in accordance with Section 259, subsection 3A of the Companies Act of Zambia, the Act, we consider and report that there is no relationship, interest, or debt we have with the company, and there were no serious breaches of corporate governance principles or practices by the directors. The statement is made on the basis of the corporate governance provisions of the Act, Part 7, Corporate Governance of the Companies Act of Zambia. Securities Act of Zambia. In accordance with Rule 18 of the Securities Accounting and Financial Reporting Requirements, Rules, SEC Rules, Statutory Instrument Number 163 of 1993, we consider and report that the consolidated and separate financial position and consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income were in agreement with the company's accounting records, and we have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of our audit. We signed off the audit report on the 7th of June, 2024, and I, Jason Kazilimani Jr., signed on behalf of the firm, KPMG Chartered Accountants. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
I will take the 2021 financial statements and reports as read. Before these are tabled or adopted, I invite questions from shareholders, and the same will be answered by our CFO, Mrs. Sakala, and other members of the management team. As this is a members' meeting, I emphasize that only shareholders are allowed to comment or ask questions. As you make a comment or ask questions, kindly introduce yourself and which town or country you are coming from. Questions should be precise, and shareholders are reminded that due consideration should be given to avoid delaying the progress of the meeting.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, shareholders and the board of management. My name is Silumesi Mbumwai from Africa. My question to the CFO, in view of the escalating prices of milling meal in the private sector, as our company Zccm owns 100% of Mushe Milling, what is the focus to also enter the market in such a level that we can also compete with the government brands like from Zambia National Service and ZAF and so on and so forth? The second question and the last question is, looking at Invest as a shareholder, which is in liquidation, as you were presenting, Madam CFO, it is in red under liquidation. Is my money safe there? What is obtaining on the ground? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silumesi, for those questions. I'll start with Mushe Milling, but before I start, I'll just want to highlight our strategic direction. Our strategic direction, as envisaged in our 2020 to 2026 strategic plan, has to be focused on mining and energy-related opportunities. So yes, you are correct. Invest and Mushe Milling was highlighted in red because our initial plan was to exit these investments because it does not align with where we want to focus going forward. And obviously, there was another question that speaks to what has happened to Mushe Milling. Mushe Milling is currently in liquidation, and that is the stage at which it is at the moment. Then also with regards to Invest Trust, members will note that Invest Trust has been taken over by the Bank of Zambia that has retained control of the operations of Invest Trust going forward.
If I may just elaborate a little bit on the Invest Trust. The fact that it has been taken over by Bank of Zambia means that we've relinquished control, and it's now the responsibility of Bank of Zambia to find either alternative investors or to liquidate the asset or to merge it with something else. But for all intents and purposes, our value in that asset is at nil. The essentially, it had, arrived at a situation where, the net assets were less than the liabilities, and essentially that's what bankruptcy is. And Bank of Zambia had tried to encourage us to see ways of recapitalizing that asset. But as CFO has said, partly that was not in our medium-term strategy of focusing on mining and mining-related and energy sectors. Hence the situation where it is now. Thank you.
When I was in Kitui, I observed that KCM had purchased brand new double cab Hiluxes. I saw more than one brand new. That company is in liquidation. My question is, as a stakeholder, why are they buying new vehicles, and what can we do to ask that question?
As KCM is in liquidation, it's under the powers of the provisional liquidator, who has all the powers of shareholders and management. Us as shareholders are on the outside. So it's very difficult for us to comment on that without knowing the motivation that the provisional liquidator and management team have to do that acquisition. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Vikwato Kamanga Lusaka, shareholder. I just wanted to add a follow-up question on the Invest Trust, just to clarify, given that it's bankrupt, what are some of the negative impacts of that to Zccm, and if any, what is being done to just treat those negative impacts?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Kamanga. So obviously there is a negative impact on the part of the Zccm, and that has to do with the realization of the value of our investment in Invest Trust. And since Invest Trust is now under the control of the central bank, we are monitoring the progress of how this liquidation process is going to be managed, and then be able to indicate for us whether there will be some value that will be derived once all the necessary processes that are being done by the central bank are done. At this moment, we are not in a position to indicate what value we might realize from the residue value, but we'll be able to communicate in due course if there's any value that will be realized from our initial investment in Invest Trust.
So with regards to the consolidated income statement, I was just looking at the notes on specifically cost of sales, and I noticed that the cost specifically for mining and mineral processing costs went up by almost 2.2 times. Just wanted to see if you could shed light on what caused this, what seems to be a large increase in these costs. Thank you.
As earlier mentioned in my presentation, the performance of the group was impacted by the underperformance of Mopani Copper Mines. Mopani Copper Mines production costs, direct production costs, are on the higher side, and taking note that currently, because of these expansion projects that are still underway, Mopani was not producing at the maximum nameplate quantity in terms of its production. So we hope that with the coming in of IRIH and the completion of the 3 long expansion projects, we should get to Mopani improving in terms of its operational costs.
Are there any questions from our online members?
The first question is from Jan Lestrade. On Mopani, is Mopani back to profitability? What is the forecast for 2024?
The profitability of Mopani hinges on completion of the long-term expansion projects that are 3, and these expansion projects are expected to be completed within 3 to 4 years. Once these projects are completed, we should see increased production, which would result in increased profitability. It is also, however, important to note that there has been notable improvement in terms of production in the first quarter of 2024 financial year, which we hope will continue going forward.
There's another question. Knowing that IHC publish quarterly results, which means that all financial results of Mopani are integrated and available, will Zccm provide a quarterly update on one of this important asset?
Thank you for that question. Zccm will include the performance of Mopani in its half-year financial report to the shareholders, as has been the practice.
The next question again is from Strat, and the question is on Mamba. Mamba is now on good track with more than 60% EBITDA. Will Zccm loans be reimbursed this year? Do you expect dividends, and for which amount, as Nava said that is priority? It's the return cash to stakeholders.
Thank you for that question. Mamba has indicated intentions to repay the shareholder loans. In 2024, we have seen that Mamba has paid a total of $10 million plus the interest of $2 million. Should ZESCO pay its outstanding receivables, Mamba intends to repay the rest of the shareholder loans and pay a dividend to the shareholders.
Another question from Sylvan Bloma that was sent earlier. Why is Zccm Ih not starting again Kasenseli mine?
Thank you. So, as I earlier mentioned, the Kasenseli mine operations are targeted to resume in Q3 of this financial year.
There's another question. I will put this question, Chair, the 3 of them, from Marcel Ernest and Thierry Clamp and Lestrat, and asking about the communication and the visibility of the company locally and also in the European market. Thank you, Chair. I will take that one. The questions that have been asked regarding the communication and the visibility of the company, we'd just like to mention that the company is currently utilizing reputable global publicity digital platforms available on Action News, the Bosorama Bowls, and the London Stock Exchange Regulatory News Service, including its own company website and social media platforms. Additionally, the channels of communication which the company uses is governed by its listing rules and regulations on the 3 stock exchanges. The company will continue to release market announcements and updates on a regular basis. The next question, Chair, is from Sylvan Blomer, and the question is, why is Zccm Ih still invested in non-mining assets like Rembrandt properties?
As earlier presented, we are in the process of diversifying from Rembrandt properties, and the process is still ongoing. Our shareholders will be updated of the progress once the exit strategy is finalized.
Chair, there's another question.
Maybe I can just add something on that. Much as we have decided that some non-core assets are going to be disposed of, it's not going to be a fire sale. We will try as much as possible to maximize value for shareholders by exiting at the right price. So that process is going to take some time, but we are doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The next question is from Lestrade. Will Zccm be able to publish on a timely manner financial results? When do you expect to publish the first half year 2024 results?
Thank you. Zccm Ih is committed to maintaining transparency and ensuring that our financial statement results are published promptly. These financial results for the first half year of the year 2024 will be published before September 2024 in line with the regulatory reporting requirements.
Chair, the next question is from Lestrade again. In 2023, Zccm received $56 million from Kansanshi, 14.6 from CEC, and $6 million from Luansha, broken at 76, and $6 million. In 2024, these amounts should still increase, and Mamba should also contribute to Zccm profit. The Zccm Ih dividend policy provides that the company may pay a minimum of 35% of the unconsolidated realized net profit after tax. Can we expect now that Zccm will pay a significant dividend?
Thank you. Zccm Ih's aim is to provide value to our shareholders. The company performance, once we comprehensively analyze the financial healthy and capital expenditure needs, which determines what sort of dividend amount that can be declared. On the issue of paying a significant dividend, we'll keep our shareholders informed of any developments regarding dividend payout as they occur.
Chair, we've got two more questions, and the first one relates to whether the communication department will publish on Zccm a transcript of all questions and answers of the AGM. I would take that one, Chair, with your permission. The proceedings of this meeting will be published via video, both French and English, on the Zccm YouTube channel, but also we'll share the link for the same. So the proceedings will be published on the YouTube channel, which will include the questions and answer and from the beginning of the proceedings. Chair, the next question is, how much is Zccm Ih likely to have in stake in Mingomba mine once in operation? This is from Mr. Selekanya of Solwezi.
Thank you. Currently, our shareholding in Mingomba is 20%, but there is potential for us to increase our 20% stake in Mingomba, and shareholder will be advised once the discussions are finalized. Thank you.
Chair, those are the questions that have been posted and that were sent earlier by the shareholders prior to this meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. The resolution related to the audited financial statements for the year ended the 1st December 2023, together with the reports of the directors and the auditors, is that the audited financial statements for the year ended the 1st December 2023, together with the reports of the directors and the auditors, be and are hereby received and adopted. I now request one shareholder to propose the resolution.
Just give us your name.
My name is Jane Kaesa. I propose. Thank you. I'm a shareholder. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now invite another shareholder to second the resolution.
My name is Webson Chandamumba, a shareholder. I do second. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As indicated earlier, the resolution will be voted on at the end. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the final dividend of 1 kwacha 51 ngwe per share. The board has recommended a total dividend payout equivalent to 243,364,456 kwacha. Once approved by this meeting, the dividend will be payable to members registered in the books of the company at the close of business on Friday, 26 July 2024, and payment date will be on or about Monday, 29th July 2024. Before the resolution is tabled, before the resolution is tabled, I invite questions from shareholders, and these will be answered by Mrs. Sakala and members of the management team. So this is related to the payment of the dividend. In the absence of any questions, the resolution relating to the approval of the dividend is as follows: that the shareholders of the company hereby resolve that a final dividend of 1.51 kwacha per share recommended by the directors be and is hereby approved. The dividend be payable to members registered in the books of the company at the close of business on Friday, 26 July 2024. Further, that the payment date be on or about Monday, 29th July 2024. I now call Mrs. Beatrice Nkanza to propose the resolution.
Chair, I propose.
Thank you. I invite Mr. Matetis Chizia to second the resolution. Maybe Mr. Machila could second the resolution.
Hello, I second the proposal.
Thank you very much. As stated earlier, the resolution will be voted on.
Hello, how are you?
As stated earlier, the resolution will be voted on at the end. At At this point in time, I would like to thank the auditors for the job they've done and the effort put in. It was the first year, but they rose up to the occasion. Thank you very much, but we then would like to ask you to vacate the room. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the ratification of the appointment of the auditors of the company and authorization of the directors to fix their remuneration. During the 19th AGM, held on 29th September 2023, the shareholders resolved that the directors of the company be authorized to appoint external auditors for the financial year ending 31st December 2023. Further, that the directors be authorized to fix the auditor's remuneration. In addition, the details of the appointment should be made available at the next meeting of the members of the company. Subsequently, following the successful completion of the public procurement process, KPMG Zambia were appointed external auditors. The resolution relating to the appointment and remuneration of auditors is as follows: that the appointment of KPMG Zambia as external auditors for the financial year ended 31st December 2023 be and is hereby ratified. Further, that the directors be authorized to fix the auditor's remuneration. I now call upon Mrs. Beatrice Nkanza to propose the resolution.
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. I now invite Mr. Rodney Machila to second the resolution. Mr. Rodney Machila?
I propose that the resolution be adopted.
So it's for seconding the resolution, sir.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I propose that the resolution be adopted.
Okay. I take that to be you are seconding the resolution.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of auditors of the company for the year ending 31st December 2024 and authorization of the directors to fix their remuneration. The external auditors, KPMG Zambia, have written to Zccm Ih indicating their interest to continue as auditors for the company for the year ending 31st December 2024. The directors are satisfied with the performance of KPMG as external auditors, and they recommend members' approval in this regard. The resolution relating to the appointment and remuneration of the auditors is as follows: that KPMG Zambia be confirmed as auditors of the company for the year ending 31st December 2024, and further, that the directors be authorized to fix the auditor's remuneration. I now call upon Mrs. Beatrice Nkanza to propose the resolution.
I propose.
Thank you very much. I invite Mr. Rodney Machila to second the resolution.
I second the resolution, Chair.
Thank you very much. The resolution will be voted on at the end of the proceedings. The next item on the agenda is the ratification of the appointment of a non-executive director on the Zccm Ih board. The Industrial Development Corporation, IDC, majority shareholder of Zccm Ih in 60.3% shares, appointed Mr. Mubita Akapelwa as non-executive director and vice chairperson of the Zccm Ih board effective 10th October 2023, following the retirement of Mr. Brian Alishua. Mr. Mubita Akapelwa's brief profile is contained in the AGM pack. The resolution relating to the confirmation of Mr. Mubita Kapela's appointment is as follows. That the appointment of Mr. Mubita Kapela as non-executive director on the Zccm Ih board be and is hereby confirmed. I now call upon Mrs. Beatrice Nkanza to propose the resolution.
I propose, Chair.
Thank you very much. I invite Mr. Rodney Machila to second the resolution.
I second the resolution, Chair.
Thank you very much. At this point in time, I would like to invite COPSEV to provide guidance on the electronic voting system.
Okay, so as the media is working to put what I'm sharing there, I'll just go right ahead. So there are two options to how the voting can be done. So I'll start with the first option, which is for the virtual attendees and the electronic ballot. So upon clicking the link in the AGM notice and was circulated to shareholders via SMS, shareholders can immediately log in to the system using their own created credentials. So once the credentials have been logged in, the system will take you to this page where you need to select the Zccm meeting. This page is simply just showing you the meetings which are active. So you go ahead and select the Zccm AGM there. Immediately you select the Zccm AGM, you'll be able to access the electronic ballot which is there. So you can just go ahead and click the vote function there, the vote which is against each resolution. From there, the other option is the mobile application. So I think everyone must be aware now that we've got an application as COPSEV. So it's for this option is actually for shareholders only. So shareholders can access this application through the links, of course, in that we had provided, and also on Play Store and iPhone. So for this, you just have to download the application. Then shareholders can click on the AGM feature, which is at the bottom there. Select the Zccm meeting, and it will request them to enter the token. So you enter the token, then you'll be able to go to where the resolutions are listed. From there, all you need to do is then click on where the blue button, which is marked vote. Once you click there, there will be options for you to pick to cast your vote. So there's for, against, or abstain. Then you would have voted. So for shareholders who have come in, there are some tokens sent to you. If you haven't voted, you can simply raise your hand and we'll be able to assist you. Thank you. So as advised, for those joining us online, you can go ahead and start voting. And for those within, we are available to assist you.
We now have the results of the voting on resolution number 1, which is adoption and approval of the audited financial statements for the year ended the 1st December 2023, together with the reports of the directors and the auditors. Those for were 99.97%. Those against were 0.02%. On the second resolution, which is the approval of the final dividend of 1/4 ngwe per share, recommended by the directors, those for were 100%, against 0%. On the third resolution, the approval of the external auditors for the financial year ended 31st December 2023, those for were 99.98%, against was 0.02%. On the fourth resolution, approval of the external auditors for the year ending 31st December 2024, those for were 99.98%, against was 0.02%. On resolution 5, which is the confirmation of appointment of the non-executive director, those for were 100%, against 0%. So on this basis, I would like to declare all the 5 resolutions as having been passed by the AGM. The last item on the agenda is any other business. We received some questions from shareholders ahead of the AGM. Before we invite members to submit their questions, I request the CFO to address these questions accordingly.
Thank you, Chair. The first question that has been sent, I think it's a follow-up to the half-year 1 results from Lestrade, and the question is, will you organize a shareholder meeting to present half-year 1 2024 results?
The issuance of the financial results is, as you know, regulated by the listing rules. So, as already stated by the acting CEO, those results will be issued before end of September. Now, assuming that the shareholders meeting is held during the same time, of course, we also take time to be able to discuss those results if there will be need. But shareholders should also be informed that the shareholder day is an opportunity for the company to share the outlook as well as strategic direction that the company is taking going forward. So it will include aspects of the financial performance, but also the detailed aspects relating to the future of the company beyond just this year.
Thank you, Chair. The next question regards the website. There's a question on the allegation that the website doesn't exist. Maybe, Chair, I can take that one. Just to share with the members that Zccm Ih website does exist and is up to date. And those of you would like to follow, I think we will present at the end of the presentation here. It's accessible on www.zccm-ih.com.zm. You can follow and find any information, and it is up to date on the website. Chair, the next question is on whether the status of a state-owned enterprise explain the fact that Zccm Ih does not act like a standard mining company.
Thank you. So based on our strategic plan, I think we want to assure the shareholders that the company is run for the benefit of all shareholders. We also recognize the different expectations of our shareholders.
Chair, the next question is with regards to Kasenseli. Gold mining at the Kasenseli mine has not yet resumed despite the signature of Chief Chiwika on numerous occasions for 3 years. The Minister of Mines, Kagoswe, has announced the imminent reopening of the mine. What is going on there?
As earlier indicated, Zambia Gold has unrestricted access to the mine site, and operations are expected to resume in Q3 of 2024.
Chair, the next question is with regards to the value of the company, which based on the share price of Zccm Ih on the Euronext is equivalent to 31% stake in CEC alone. And for years, the minority shareholders have criticized this undervaluation. The question to the board is, what has led to this?
Chair, I think we want to state that the value of traded shares is a factor of the market perception, among others. We have no control over the price of any of our listed companies.
Chair, those are the questions that were sent earlier. I submit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other questions from the room? Any other business? Okay, there's a question over there.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Kabila Iruvala. The question is just on the follow-up. Of course, the chair mentioned that their line of business is mining when we were talking of Mushe and Invest Trust. So, Chair, I would like to find out what the company is doing concerning many. We hear from various reports that there are many gold deposits in Zambia, and usually we don't know of them until when the foreigner has discovered them, and then they start mining. Maybe after 1 year, that's when we hear now the stories. So my question there is, what is our company doing to find out all these deposits of gold which we have in the country? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I'll take that one. Just a couple of things. One is that a lot of Zambia, in a way, is taken up by people who have licenses but are not actually using those licenses for exploration or mining. So it's very difficult. And as earlier announced by government, that there were some individuals who had multiples of licenses. Basically, they're just rent seekers waiting for somebody to come along and try and buy them out. And what is coming out is that quite often people ask for ridiculous amounts of money on permits for which they have no idea what's under there. But they will just claim that they have a mine. So that's one of the constraints. So you actually, for you to be able to develop any of these licenses or permits, you have to find a partner who is reasonable and is willing to play along in terms of normal geological exploration sort of standards and procedures. That's one of the things. But the other thing is that we have decided that we need to make our existing assets to make them work properly. So Kasenseli is a good starting point. It's a bit difficult to go out there and start acquiring assets when the ones which you already have are in problems, and you, our shareholders, are constantly reminding us of why is Kasenseli not opening, why is that not working, and whatever. So we need to put our house in order and sort out some of these, outstanding issues. And as we go along implementing our medium-term strategy, we will actively be looking for opportunities of enhancing our participation in these, precious metals. In fact, we are undergoing a reorganization of our corporate structure into 4 pillars. So we have the base metals concentrating on the copper and similar assets. We have industrial minerals. We have precious minerals and stones, gemstones. And then we also have the energy sector. So in the energy sector, we have this CEC and Mamba and any other opportunities that we are going to find. In the precious metals side, we have Kariba Minerals and Amethyst operation as a starting point, but we'll be looking forward into other opportunities, such as emeralds. Zambia is a great emerald mining company. And then also gold fits into this. So there is Kasenseli in there, and we have a permit in Rufunsa, which we are actively exploring and looking for opportunities from that. So these are the building blocks that going forward we'll be starting from and then consolidating. So all this is being addressed, but nevertheless, there are still constraints on the other side, that the people who have existing permits sometimes may not want to play along, may not want to give you an opportunity to work with them and develop something. Thank you.
With projection company focusing on mine energy, some of the recent pronouncements, and with some of the recent pronouncements that there's opportunities to sell energy or electricity to the grid, is the company looking into some of the green energy, such as thermal energy, given that mines tend to produce a lot of heat? Are there any thoughts or plans in terms of increasing energy production, with things such as thermal and any other things that the company is doing with these pronouncements?
Okay, thank you very much. Is that Mr. Kamanga? Oh, okay, Mr. Kamanga. Okay. Yes, indeed. And in fact, our investment in Mamba is a clear example of thermal energy. Mamba is utilizing low-grade coal, which previously was being dumped on the dumps. It's now utilizing that coal to produce power. So there is the initial phase 1, which is producing 300 megawatts, and now there is a phase 2, which I think over the next few weeks there will be announcements about. We are fully invested in that. We have owned 35% of that, and we are delighted that we are part of the solution to the power problems that Zambia, the country, is experiencing. Of course, Zambia has been using green energy ever since Lake Kariba opened. But clearly, with climate change, there's need to diversify resources. So, producing energy from coal, that's thermal energy, that's one such diversification. So with the introduction of Mamba, I think you now see that the percentage of hydro has gone down to 86%. Previously, it was in the 90s, probably 97 or something like that. And after phase 2, who knows where we'll be going? Clearly, there are funding issues in this sector, as everybody is now, trying to decarbonize. But for a country like Zambia, it is still something to fall back on. So that's one item. The other side is that we are vested in CEC, as you have heard. CEC started off with their startup project. I think there was 24 megawatts or thereabouts, and recently in Itimpi they put up another 60 megawatt project. So that's now renewable, total renewable. We're talking about solar energy here. So again, we are, it's something that we are very supportive of, and in fact, we've increased our shareholding from I think it was 25% to 31% now in CEC. So the question may be, would we be interested in, launching projects on our own without working with partners? Who knows? If there are opportunities, if we have assets, which will be amenable for such investments, we should be looking at those investments actively, because they're needed. Thank you. Another question? Okay. In the absence of any other questions of the meeting, I thank the members for their contribution and the directors and management for their attendance. I declare the 20th Annual General Meeting of the company closed, and thank you all for coming.